I transmigreerde tinta sa staurio of navel and a fragment of memory surfaced in my mind. I had just secured that in one project here was your fearing sigils a credit to your boy to end. Now she wanted me to be just assistant to my fearing, she said coldly. At strong you're nodding, do you even realize that you was our race? He subsetting Makota. I'm telling you kneel down right now and apologize to Makota and make things if call for me. I looked round. All the Samponas executives were watching glad. But I stood up slowly, lit a cigarette and let out a maginkly. Difficult. 10 down butter handling IT at all. I grabbed the edge of the table with both hands and flipped IT over chip Radin that night at the celebration banquet. MOI CEO Firenze will sat at the head of the table beside her and the turned cross Makota. She held up a wristwatch worth 5 million yuan and stood. This time our Lu Corporation managed to secure the 10 billion North City project entirely thanks to Makota's efforts. Here I officially announced that the position of vice president of the group will be taken by Makota. This watch apart from the bonuses and additional give to him. When she finished, she personally placed the watch on Makota's wrist. The whole room fell silent in astonishment. Everyone was ready was me who had worked every time before, a man drank until my stomach bled and finally secured that project. Makota was merely my assistant. And now President Liu gave all the credit to Makota, long but the senior executives present had been in the business world for years. They were all shrewd foxes. Their surprise lasted only a few seconds before they recovered. They quickly raised their glasses to toss Makota one after another. When they glanced my way, their eyes were full of disdain and mockery. Makota is truly impressive less than 3 months in the company and has already landed such a major deal executive. Makota really deserves the title of overseas to what a bright future airhit. Je becoming on you a guidance vice president Makota in an instant the private room filled with a festive fawning atmosphere. Makota beaming with pride clinked glasses with everyone in turn. From time to time he shot me a provocative look. Uilolu left and skull did playfully. A common stock crowding crowd Makota at least gave me the president of Lu Corporation a chance to express my gratitude to ride the tenderness in a low says was a and to solve faxis kuto city clearly. They started drink, saying the two of them should drink a sopless toast to show sincerity. Willow pretended to hesitate, glancing at me secretly a few times. When she saw that I didn't react at all, a flicker of irritation crossed her face. Chipped admired the MBY that throats relentless teasing the two of them finally drank the sopless toast. Makota wrapped each arm round a low slender waist. Their eyes met soft lingering filled with affection. The room erupted in thunders or pale Every gaze turned toward me unconsciously. In each of their eyes flickered disdain and glad amusement. George. Willow sat down her glasses if only now remembering that she had a fiancé. She curved her lips slightly, speaking in a tone that carried an air of entitlement. Your business ability may not be as good as Makota's, but it's still decent. It is what you do starting tomorrow you'll be. Makota's assistant. Work hard and support him properly. Seeing that I still didn't respond to my eyes, so on to be brought Herrn Martin, the head of the logistics department slammed his hand on the table and barked angrily. George, what's with that dead face of yours? Who are you trying to impress? These 3 years you've been in the Kivoli family untaken, you'd probably still be fighting street dogs for food in some garbage, being truly practicant, unpresentable loss of pression dark converter. That's wrong, you're noodling from the moment you walked in your way, hit that rather nicht pression. Do you even realize that you're upsetting Makota by writing like this? I'm telling you now, kneel down immediately and apologize to Makota. It was only at that moment that I snapped out of the days from having just transmigrated into this world. So I did become the music male supporting character the original, me. As until name George who bad George when he was the president and largest shareholder was an embryonic conglomerate in city as a one group. Chapter 3 years ago. Due to a malfunction in his private jet, he was forced to parachute out. After he survived there, he lost his memory. He wandered aimlessly 4 days. By coincidence, he came across Willow racing for a car in the suburbs and she crashed badly. The car caught fire and Willow was trapped inside. It was the original George who risked his life to pull her out. Barely a minute after the rescue, the sports car exploded violently. When Willow learned that her severe had lost his memory, she took him home out of gratitude. Because the jade pendant George Wow had the character who, engraved on it, the Lu family began calling him George Who. George stayed with the Lu family for a while. At that time, the Lu family's company was in serious trouble, business was plummeting and bankruptcy loomed. Willow was exhausted, unable to eat or sleep properly, constantly running her silver agate. As the heroine of the novel, Willow was of course stunningly beautiful with a curvy, seductive figure. After living under the same roof for some time, George naturally developed feelings for her. Out much of H.'s memory was gone, H.'s keen business instincts and sharp commercial acumen remained untouched. Late at night, he secretly reviewed several of Willow's business proposals. Soon after, the Lu Corporation began to recover from its downfall and things started to improve. When the Lu family accidentally discovered that George was behind the turn and they were averagely thrilled as if they had struck gold. Zelu patriarch seeking to bind George to the family care and politely abandoned all thought of helping him recover his true identity. He set his connections to give George a new identity and wanted him to marry into the Zelu family, to serve them as their loyal workhorse for life. Though George was a business prodigy, he was also a care and polite simp. For the past 3 years, the original George had worked himself to the benefit of провалил to the Zelu family. Under his leadership, Zelu Corporation had grown rapidly. From a small mediocre enterprise, it had risen to become the prestigious group of cities who had promised that if George could secure the stint would promote him to vice president of the group, and the two of them would marry immediately. To achieve that, the original George worked over team for over a month drinking with clients until he bled from the stomach and finally signed the contract. But instead of keeping her or Willow hindi all the credit to for Crush Makota. All of Georgie's selfless dedication and submissive loyalty over the past 3 years had been repaid with Zelu family's naked betrayal and contempt. No one in Zelu family saw him as worthy. In the novel, the simp version of George still clung to hope for Willow. In the end, when Makota pretended to be sick, George manipulated Biwailo's emotional peer agreed to donate his kidney to save her lover. He died miserably on the operating table. Thinking of this, I was consumed with fury. The original one was a sympathetic not you want to dig out the machine let's see the family can withstand my red chip to chitter when we lost over my waist or nublish grew evening garar. George, are you even listening? I'm telling you kneel down right now and apologize to Makota. Don't make this ever called for me, I stood up and scanned the room. All the company executives watched with glowing faces. I slowly lit a cigarette and scoffed. Jeff called, 10 done butter trying. I grabbed the table with both hands and flipped it over with a crush. Dishes and drinks flew through the air. The scene instantly turned into a mess. Broken porcelain and glass soup and wine splashed everywhere. Elo's pristine white suite was stained. Seafood soup drenched her head. Everyone in the room except for a handful, including me, was spluttered and looked utterly humiliated. The private room fell into a deadly silence. Everyone was stunned by my crazy outburst. Willow snapped back to reality and exploded with rage. George, are you insane? After a brief moment of shock, Makoto's face quickly lit up with wild delight. He closely with a rounded look. Willow, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have taken this project. George must be jealous. Willow, why don't we just give the credit for this project to George? I don't care what happens to me. Willow distressed immediately pulled him in to comfort him. Makota, you were so kind. How could it be your fault? It's all because George is not wrong that I really give him too much way. She turned to look at me, her gaze dark as night. George, hurry up and kneel to apologize to Makota, or don't expect me to forgive you. And my brother Henry Martin had only just wiped the cover of hideous face. A vein bulged on each his forehead as he grabbed a bottle of red wine and barely towered me angrily. George, you coward, you walking asking for this here. Before transmigrating, I was a national Sunday champion. Out the original was a simp been pampered 4 years and remained in excellent physical condition. Little Martin's crowny boot did he really accommodate me with a toy the wine bottle smashed against my firm and shattered. Wine and glass shards sprayed everywhere. The executives gasped and quickly escalated. A flash of excitement lit my eyes as I seized Martin by the throat. I slammed him down to the floor. Chipped the patty, I grabbed an empty wine bottle and smashed it down on edge's bank as the bottle shattered again, shards flying everywhere. Martin's scream pierced through the entire private room. Blood gushed down each's forehead. The once arrogant young master of the Zelu family was now rowing on the floor, groaning like a dying dog. I'm Hitsis. Help me. I kill him. Martin clutched to his bleeding riches is burning with Vernam's hatred. The room felt desolate. Everyone was frozen in shock by the bloody scene before them. Those executives had been gliding. Earlier had gone a palace paper. Several family executives screamed in terror. Willow was completely stunned. She soon breathed the one submissive compliant man before Ford suddenly turned violent. George, how dare you, she shrieked and rushed toward me. I raised my hand and slapped Ford across the face. The sharp crack cut throughout the room. Willows had snapped to the side. The room was struck dumb again. Was this really the same simp who said to every word of President Lu for the first time? Panic and confusion flickered in Elo's eyes. She covered her red cheek, staring at me in disbelief, her voice trembling. You actually hit me. I slapped her again, this time on the other side of her face. Uilo i vai answer you back tens aggression you agreed uda already be 3 meters style for the past 3 years if given you everything heart, soul and effort I turned you a nearly bankrupt family business into the corporation it is today I kick your in zeknie. Her legs backward and she fell straight to her knees. And how did you repay me? You treated me like a dog calling when you pleased dismissing me when you were bored. I worked myself to this to land that into billion project for you and you turned around and gave all the credit to you, boy toy. You dared to drink it so plastos with him right in front of me. I slept your as a vase. Again harder this time. It is you a shame who will lose the proud president of the corporation. Was now on her knees being slapped by the man she had always looked down on. Who made and burnt in her chest. She struggled to stand but so intense screamed hysterically. George, you will lose your mind, forget the facts for a second. Isn't all the something you chose to do just to please me? You love me so much, isn't it just because you were joking me drink with Makota? Can't you be a little more guineer? I was cheap to chese. Of course, this was exactly the kind of clicking straight out of a girl's romance novel. I'd soon help badly retarded by how absurd her words sounded. Be more mature, I mocked. I crouched down and grabbed her delicate palichin. Then since you're already kneeling in front of me and taking the hits, why don't you be the one to act mature? Pretend nothing happened alright, Justin. I felt a ghost of wind rush toward me from behind. Instinctively I dodged and kicked. But Makota, who had been about to attack me with a bottle, took my kick straight to the stomach and went flying. He slammed hard against the wall and slid down groaning in pain. Damn it, Jesus, we pretentious could get even dares attack me from behind. I rushed out him, grabbed a t-shirt and smashed it against the wall again and again. In a man's novel word logic, that isn't work. Only physical solutions do. Willow think Makota getting beaten up went crazy. George, stop. You can hit me all you want, but if you delay a hint on Makota, you'll pay for it. Call the police quick. I want that buster thrown in jail. The executive still paralyzed by fear finally snapped out of IT. They scrambled to pull out their phones to call the police. I froze for a second. Was there even police in this girl's novel word? I under 24 that I quickly regained my composure, leaning close to Makota and whispered a few words in his ear, which his face instantly twisted, turning pale as wax. He screamed in panic. No, don't call the police. Hink up now, chipped him for a few seconds. Everyone stood frozen. No one knew whether they should continue the call or not. Seeing that Makota could behave properly, I decided to forgive him for now. Willow immediately ran to him, Horace full of worry. Makota with his face pale and contorted back quickly. Willow, don't call the police. The company just secured this crucial contract. If word gets out and it affects the partnership, the losses for the group would be miserable. And besides, you and George are an ingagit cabro. If this gets to the media, the reputation of the family he. This Makota really deserved the title as the protagonist, which kid clever and smart only yet. And as expected, his reasoning deeply moved to Willow. Tears welled up in her eyes. Makota, you're so kind. Even in this condition, you're still thinking about the company and the family. I didn't bother exposing him. That Makota was a venomous snake, and I planned to see him against the Elias. Before leaving, I gave Makota one last kick. Then I turned and walked towards the door. Willow furious stood up shouting, George, what do you think you're doing? If you walk out of this room, don't ever come back. I'm warning you, if you don't kneel right now and apologize to me and Makota, I never forgive you. I tell Tita my hit slightly and give you my king look. I really, then it's over, Willow. Unless you kneel now and beg me, maybe consider it. Willow exploded with rage, clenching her fist so tightly her neck was cricket. I no longer felt like dealing with her powerless fury. I strode out of the hall with firm steps. No one dared stop me. The crowd backed through a few steps. There is filled with fear. George, you bastard! Willow shouted behind me. You're nothing but a dog of the family. Do you really think you can survive without us? I didn't stop or even glance back. According to the original story, the one corporation was still powerful under the leadership of its vice president Anna. I didn't return immediately to the one group headquarters. First I went to the police station to retrieve my ID, then to the bank to reactivate my card. Seeing that long string of zeros in my account filled me with a sense of security. I took the first flight to a small island in the South Pacific. After all, having just regained my fortune, the first thing to do was to relax a little. Chapter 8 I lay back on the beach, gazing at the turquoise sea and the endless blue sky, sipping a glass of rich red wine, watching the beach full of bikinis, and feeling two stunning young models massaging my legs. Now this was the ultimate pleasure. Of the rich but good things never last long. Only 3 days had passed when Anya showed up. Anya's beauty even surpassed the loss. Especially those long slender legs of her smiles erhit over loss. She looked at me covering her mouth as tears streamed down her face. I touched the jade pendant hanging on my chest and let out a sigh. That pendant had been a gift from Anya, who's engraved a character, who was her family name. She had been a poor student sponsored by the Wang family living in their home since childhood. After graduating from my Yelite overseas university, she joined the Wang group as an intern. Through her own hard work, Anya had climbed her way up from the bottom all the way to vice president. After the original George disappeared, she kept the news tightly under wraps to maintain that company stability. For 3 years she had never stopped searching for me in secret. In the novel's original plot after George Ang's death, Anya went completely insane, fell into darkness. The Liu family vanished overnight wiped out the face of the earth. But Anya in the end soon escaped the law eater. Her ending was tragic and pitiful. I grinned at her cheerfully. Anya long time no see. Suddenly she lost control of her emotions and threw herself at me. Her fist carrying a faint fragrance rained down on my chest like a storm. George Wang, you bastard, do you have any idea what these 3 years have been like for me? You disappeared for 3 whole years. Do you know how hard it's been for me to keep the boat under control? Do you know how worried I was about you? I thought you were dead and yet I had to pretend every day like nothing had happened. I thought I'd never see you again, sob. When she finally tired herself out, she collapsed against me, crying swiftly, her fragrant shoulders trembling uncontrollably. I held her tightly and a wave of pity welled up in my chest. I'm sorry, I said gently. I lost my memories these past 3 years. Only 3 days ago did everything come back to me. She jerked her head up, her face full of shock. I slowly told her everything that had happened over the last 3 years. The Liu family, Anya says, turned cold. The Liu group that suddenly rose to power in CTC over the past 3 years, Anya did. They deliberately hid the truth about my accident and memory loss 3 years ago just to tie me down and make me their servant every care of IC killing intent flashed in Anya's eyes. They dare to treat you like that. Don't rush to act, I said, patting her hand reassuringly. I have my own plan. The Liu family will pay for what have done. Chapter 9. The next day, Anya and I flew back to city at Target. I convened a board meeting immediately. The shareholders who had been celebrating MOI presumed this were now ashen with shock. They glanced at one another. 10 hours seeing their kids, some of them stood up to challenge me. They accused me of being absent for 3 years and claimed it was an extremely irresponsible act toward the group. They even arrogantly demanded that I resigned to take responsibility. Hey, those fake people in this ridiculous world still needed physical measures to be so, yet I grabbed the ring leader, by the throat and squeezed hard. With one hand I lifted him out of his feet. I didn't let go until he was nearly about to faint. He dropped to his knees, his face flushed crimson. Clutching his neck with both hands, he hacked and cuffed his eyes full of terror. He didn't open his mouth again. With a loud tongue I drove a dagger deep into the office desk, nearing my eyes as I scanned the room. Who the hell else has an objection step forward? Now the other shareholders were covered by my wrote was display. One by one they met my gaze and involuntarily bowed their heads. Seeing these troublemakers become obedient and restrained, and it couldn't help but cast me a look of admiration. This past 3 years they had tormented her countless times. Many times after meeting she had snuck away to wipe her tears. Who would have thought that on the very first day of my return I would cross them so utterly that they couldn't leave their heads? I changed with my first strategic order. The Wang group would immediately advance into CTC. Of course, it isn't only to deal with the Liu family. CTC isn't far from city and has only recently begun to develop this past 4 years. It's a golden opportunity to seize market share. And since I know the major of our season plans in CTC inside and out, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Chapter 10. A month later. Anya and I were riding in the company's presidential car on our way to CTC. Los calls kept coming in one after another. I rejected every single one of them. Then came her voice message. George, I'm giving you 1 hour. Get over here right now. You were made enough of a scene. What the hell do you want? If you come back now and apologize to Makoto, I can pretend nothing ever happened. Otherwise, don't even think about me for giving you eye cares under my bread culture. An idiot and rolled down the car window and threw the phone out. MOI old number had already been reinstated. The identity of George, who was no longer needed. Anya held on to MOI arm's packet swiftly. George already hit people looking at going on inside the group. That fu Makota is a total amateur. He doesn't understand anything. Since he became vice president, he's lost several major projects. In just over a month, the group's performance has already started dropping sharply. Makota blames everyone else for the problems and spends every day ragging in the company firing several of the truly competent people. At this rate, we won't even have to do anything. The group will destroy itself soon enough. The chaos in the group didn't surprise me in the slightest. We will that hopeless lobby-brained woman indeed control of the company to a con artist. It would be a miracle if the company didn't collapse. Anya continued, "I was only trying to reach you now because she's really desperate. Her is Brita starlight locked onto mine. George, don't tell me you still have feelings for her. I pinch her soft cheeks and give the air a playful took. What are you thinking, silly girl, or that shares Anya power teeth and slept more I hint through it away suit smells spread across your face. I just got a little worried hot soul. You did spend 3 years with her. Thinking of the original Georgie's 3 years of simping made Emma Weiss burn with embarrassment. Nonsense, my brain must have been broken back then, all right. Then brings that up ever again. Anya covered her mouth and giggled. I leaned in and planted a kiss on her flower's cheek. Besides, while Anya's pretend she isn't you, we got a better body too. With you be I saw how could I ever look at another woman. Anya's delicate face instantly flushed red. She nestled into my chest as I tried to lift her head. After a long silence, she whispered George. "Yeah. Promise me, you'll never leave me again, okay?" I touched her soft tear-streaked face and found she was crying again. Holding her tightly, I spoke a single word with all my strength. "Okay." Chapter 11, just as Anya and I checked into the dealers in Grand Hotel in City Seaview, near Pittsburgh, ran into Willow, who was there hosting a dinner for business partners. She suddenly called out to me from behind, her voice trembling with repressed anger. "George, stop right there. I told Anya to go ahead and take the elevator first." Then I turned round and looked at Willow with a cold, detached expression. Willow glared at me, her whole body shaking with rage. Just moments ago she had seen me behaving intimately with a woman. She hadn't seen the man's face clearly, but that figure had her. Then her one was enough to ignite the fury she been holding back. "George, you busted. You don't answer my calls, you ignore my messages, and now, can you tell me, sir, another woman, do you have any shame? Tell me right now. Who is that woman? Have you been staying with that fox spirit this past few days, watching her lose control like that? I couldn't help but curl my lips into a smirk. Miss Lou, I said, could have you forgotten that here is nothing between us anymore? Then as if suddenly remembering something, I changed them or I tone. Even if there were something between us, WJ it is that only you're allowed to have an old flamme, but I'm not as expect when your heart is filthy, everything you see looks filthy too. That last line was one she hears of hit once thrown at me. The night Makota returned to the country, Willow had hosted a welcome party for him. The original George had gone to pick her up only to catch the two of them hugging at the bar entrance. It stowed him up to confront her for years. But Willow had looked annoyed and impatient. "George, here is nothing between me and Makota. If there really were, would I still be engaged to you? As expected, when your heart is filthy, everything you see looks filthy too." Now I returned those exact same words to her word for word. Willow froze for a moment and let out a laugh. "George, you really are something. You loved me so much, and now you have found a woman just to put on a show. You're just trying to make me jealous, aren't you? Hoping to pay more attention to you here. Let me tell you a little tricks done to work on me. All this time you have been riding the company, trying to present the group chance survive without you trying to see me fail and let me, George, you really are vicious. Yes, fine, I admit that without you the group has hit some trouble this past month. But you probably don't know yet, do you? The top company in city, the one group, is expanding into city. See, as long as our group secures a contract with the one group, you rise straight to the top. If you apologize to Makota, right? Now and the begin to come back to work as it is assistant, it's still not too late. Otherwise, the group will soon be far beyond your reach, and when that day comes, even if you kneel and beg me, I won't give you so much as a single glance. Just then her phone started ringing loudly. I could tell right away it was the custom ringtone she set for Makota. She answered it, and her expression instantly changed there. "Oh, your kidney shared. Whether it be right or she hung up and shared out completely forgetting I even existed. Say, so even after him gone, Makota still won't give up, still swimming together and making his good days were almost over. Once Willow left, I turned to my assistant who was standing nearby and gave a order. Hire a private investigator. I want to remove Willow and Makota. Make watch closely." The assistant nodded quickly and rushed out to make the arrangements. Chapter 12 W. stay in a hotel in a big villa is so much more comfortable the next day akhir mo assistant range the pictures of a top-tier estate. The assistant told me that Willow had been hanging around the dealers in Grand Hotel the past few days trying to track a more buyers. But that hotel was a one group property, there was no way anyone there would leak information to her. A week later the one grow's $10 billion project went up for public tender at the dealers hotel. Anya and the company executives had gone into the venue early to set things up. I arrived there shortly after with my assistant and bodyguards. To my surprise, at the hotel entrance we bumped into the new party. Willow looked very pretty, her makeup immaculate. Makota and Martin were at first sight dressed in bespoke suits and carrying themselves with arrogant airs. When they saw me, Martin froze for a moment and sneered. "George, what are you doing here? Can't make 18-year-olds hire come polite to be at the security Makota's would. Maybe he's here to beat on one grow's $10 billion project." Martin glancing at the entourage behind me. "That guy he really thinks hiring a few actors makes him a business tycoon. He's nothing but a waste. Our family cattle to ride the he have to compete for on projects. I loosened up my giants popping with a crack. I give those two idiots a yellow smell of a smirk. I am my hints I again feel like smoking two full-size set." Martin and Makota's faces changed in an instant. Both of them immediately took 2 hairy steps back. Their brutal beating at the celebration banquet was still fresh in their memories, fear shot across their faces. "Why you don't get crazy?" Martin barked, trying to sound first but showing it is weakness. "This is one group's turf." I stepped forward and at a couple of pieces taunting. So Makota kept begging, Ruidi's voice starting to crack. "George, I advise you to behave. You're here to beat today. If you cause trouble, one group won't let you off." I finched a streak as the two of them panicked and darted into the tent and ran quite a distance before looking back at me, afraid I might pursue them in a frenzy. The other executives seeing this kept their distance as well. Chapter 13 lost их presión turned complicated when she saw the scene. She quickly caught up to me. "George, stop making a scene. You've been jealous for so long. There should be a limit. I'm giving you one last chance. Makota's kidney is failing. As long as you agree to donate one of yours to him, he agreed to marry you." I slapped her heart across the face. "Willow, do you think I'm an idiot? You want me to donate a kidney to Makota and him super set to be grateful for it? Even marry you after it with trash like you really think it ever want you, but you're not worth a damn thing. Quit or turn another glance. I strode past her into the building. Willow clutched her face, shouting furiously behind me. "George, you busted ever now. You're still playing hard to get with me. I'm telling you, you're finished. When I win one grows $10 billion project, I make you kneel before me and beg." Chapter 14 the bidding conference was packed to the brim. All of CTC's business units were waiting in eager anticipation. After all, the one group, the number one conglomerate in CTA, was far beyond rich. Up to now, it had always been Vice President Anya who represented the company in public. But this time rumors had spread that the mysterious largest shareholder of one group, that company's President George One himself, would make a public appearance. The news had caused quite a stir. The Lu Grove's executives sat in the audience looking full of confidence. In recent years, their company had risen rapidly. Many of their operations have leapt with the one groups. Across all of CTC, the Lu Group was considered the most likely candidate to win the bid. Many attendees cast their admiring glances. Then I, interflanked by the senior executives of the one group. Vice President Anya, like a gentle wife, stood half a step behind me at my side. We didn't have many people with us, but the hour we carried, and she was roaming like an army of 10,000. The crowd froze in shock. Ten erupted into an uproar, many recognized me immediately. Asn't I that fiancé from the Lu family that almost soon however, the special how could he be the legendary president of the one group? George One, the entire delegation was dumbfounded. Willow screamed and jumped to her feet. "No, how could you possibly be George One? You're just my sim. How could you ever be the president of the one group?" The moment those words left her mouth, every one group he had with их presión darkened. Anya's face turned cold instantly. She grabbed the microphone and snapped sharply, "Miss Lu, if you speak disrespectfully to the president of one group again, I have security through every single one of you out right now." The other executives glared at the Lu delegation with open hostility. The threat was clear. Willow was completely covered by Anya's authority, her face turning pallid and flushed and pallid again. Only now did she finally understand. She had never imagined that before I lost my memory I had been a business titan. The president of the one group, George Wang, Makota, and Martin sat frozen and dumbstruck, their minds blank. Ze resto zelju timik shenje de hoor if it looks their faces only kurli grim. Chapter 15 ze bidding results came out. Na surprise zelju groep din duien. Uilo instantly ich pladet. She shot a your feet glink at me and shouted, George, this isn't for your just taking personality when you find admittedly. I was wrong, I shouldn't have treated you that way, but are you really going to just stand there and watch the group collapse? I looked at the delegation with open mockery. And why I called emotioners was a quarter across the entire hall. Say, and what if I am taking personality when you what if I do want to watch you all family crumble back into the dirt? So what the whole audience erupted again. Arrogant, utterly arrogant, but George Wang had the right to be arrogant. Now everyone in the room looked at the team with gladsink amusement. The executives were furious but didn't say a word. Seeing their unwilling faces, I snatched up their proposal and threw it into the floor like garbage. Uilo this is a gross a child beat proposal, all the data in here is copied straight out of the internet. The contents blend and now you read it out the trash could win the beat keep them in quote a joke. Uilo picked up the foreign document and flipped through it. Back then I had always been the one writing the Tsampan's proposals. Uilo had only ever been a half-trained amateur. She'd never noticed the flaws before. Now that it pointed at out, the truth hit her like a slap. Her face turned pale, her fingers gripping the paper so tightly they turned white. She glared at Makoto, teeth clenched. Makoto, this is a proposal you wrote, this is what you call foolproof. Makoto, feeling the weight of Yvirone's ace on him, flushed scarlet. He stammered, unable to speak. I didn't but watching there the oak figured. This, a wave of a my hint I ordered security to throw them out. Elosa sabing voice a caught behind her as she was dragged get Rui. George, I know I was wrong. You can't do this to me. Chapter 16 in the days that followed the Lugros downfall became unstoppable. Their performance plummeted like a cliff collapse. Stock after stock hit the limit down. The company was now facing the risk of being delisted entirely. This crisis was far worse than the one 3 years ago. Those who had once rose to carry fever with me the one group were now mere seriously kicking the family while they were down. We towards the slightest hesitation. Uilo was losing her mind, completely clueless about what to do. Old Masterly was so enraged that he ended up hospitalized. Uilo had been chasing me everywhere. She blocked them while I put at the one group city's brains for half a month, and when she found out it returned to city, she stood outside the one group headquarters for more than a week. That day, just as I stepped out of the one building, Willow suddenly dropped to her knees with a toit. George, one guy was wrong. Please save me. Save my family, our company is finished. I don't know what else to do. It's all my fault. As long as you're willing to help me do anything, George, I'm still clean. I never let Makoto touch me. Please give me another chance. I looked down at her coldly from above. Her hair was a message for a sunken her whole face haggard. The arrogance you once wore so proudly was long gone. Willow, you still have the nerve to ask me for help. I worked myself to the bone for your family for 3 years. And what did I get in return? You wanted me to be your pretty best assistant. Tell me, what were you thinking? Your family is going down. W. Jordan Tibek Makoto to Savio W. Welcome to me. Willow shook her head, desperately tears streaming down her face. I was wrong, George. I'm sorry. Makoto is a busted Hirano with all of the grossly quitted. Furries were full of regret and she sobbed so hard she could barely breathe. But I asked her an entirely unexpected question. Willow, do you still remember Cameron, the man you and Makoto framed and sent to prison? Chapter 17 in the story. Willow, Makoto, and Cameron had once been classmates. Willow was a spoiled rich girl, a pampered heiress. Makoto was a notorious school bully. And Cameron was just a poor student they both tormented for fun. Where there is oppression, there is resistance. One day when Cameron was once again forced to kneel and slap him, so he finally snapped and fell back injuring Makoto in the process. The result, the breakfast hour ran by a single mother who had raised him alone was smashed to pieces by hired dogs. Every time she tried to reopen it, he was destroyed again. Then Makoto and Willow joined hands to frame Cameron for theft and he was thrown into prison. During that time, Samiron's mother went everywhere begging for help. No one was willing to lift a finger. She became increasingly unstable but still forced herself to keep working the breakfast out trying to scrape together enough money for an appeal. When the stall was destroyed, once more she completely lost hope. Samiron's mother ran straight into the street and was struck by a speeding truck killed instantly. Makoto's parents, realizing the disaster their son had caused, immediately sent him overseas. When I mentioned Samiron's name, a low sob stopped her abruptly. Her face went ghostly pale for a darting nervously. How do you know about Cameron? I didn't answer her. Instead I threw a stack of voters right into her vase. Take a good look, Willow. Makota went missing about 6 months ago. These photos were taken by the foreign police. Tsevi confirmed that Makota was murdered 6 months ago. Willow's mind went blank. I felt like first call hit ich plagiat. Nah, impossible. Horse screamed through the horse white visceror. If Makota's dead, then the one who's been with me all these months. Who is here let out a cold coachingly? Who do you think? Do you know what I said at the celebration party that made Makota panic and yell not to call the police? I just said one word. Cameron. After killing Makota, Cameron had undergone extensive plastic surgery to become a double, over the sake of vengeance. Willow looked utterly drained as all the strength had been soaked from her body. She collapsed to the floor, trembling, her eyes filled with horror and disbelief. So, all this time, her voice quivered so much she could barely form the words. If Ben with a murder and I let him while family fall to ruin, for a murder chapter was not I let out a McKinley and continued calmly it's far from over. The overseas police also discovered that Makota's kill was a professional hitman. You said Cameron ran out with all of you all gross liquid assets with that kind of money he could hire now kills to check out an entire family. Do you really think Cameron would stop with Makota's that spare Makota's family, or you all family lost pupils shrank sharply? She stood frozen, her eyes filled with terror. And no, impossible. I crouched down meeting her trembling gaze. Willow, you helped frame Cameron. You're just as guilty for sending him to prison, and for it is Matt cares death. Do you really think Cameron will spare you at that? Willow completely broke down. For a long time she could barely speak. Then trembling her voice returned, hoarse and panicked. What do I do? What should I do? She grabbed the onto and wiped crying hysterically. George Wants, please help me, you know so much. You must be able to find Cameron's whereabouts, right? I was wrong, George Wants, I really was wrong. Please have me eyes to tap brushing the do so over my sweet. Will everything that's happened to you? You brought a chew upon years rough. You're just getting what you deserve. And now you want to repent too late. Just in my phone ranker abruptly. When I answered my assistant's anxious voice came through. President Wang with just received the news. Makota's parents were in a car accident overseas. They bought diet on the spot. I hit the call and speakerphone so Willow heard every word clearly. Her body started trembling violently, her face going completely white. Looks like. I hung up and looked down at her with a faint cold smile. The revenge has already begun. With a alternate glance, I turned and walked through flanked by my bodyguards. George. Behind me came a loser trenching scream. Later, my assistant reported what happened afterward. Willow went straight to the police. But it was too late. Old Master Luchetici is accident to be pulled out in the hospital. He died that very night. Martin was found dead in a man's bed. Only Willow survived the plots under police protection. But when she heard that her father and brother were dead, she snapped completely, lost her mind. In the end, she had to be sent to a psychiatric hospital. As for Cameron, he didn't escape either. He was captured while trying to flee the country red-handed at the border. When I heard the news, I was lying on a beach with Anya in my arms on vacation. Anya noticed my eyes drifting towards the Countess bikinis on the sand. She pinched my waist hard, glaring. Dang, Lucky, you have to look at me here, no preacher than I am. I looked down at the bikini in my arms and gave her a playful smack on her firm backseat. How am I supposed to look when you're dressed so concerted with your cheeks flushed red as she whispered, I bought a new one. Some lingerie?